Boom! What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another beautiful day here in the Central Coast. Today is going to be an absolutely awesome video because I'm going to be teaching you guys how to Plasti dip a car. We are going to be using the rattle can style Plasti dip. We're doing gunmetal gray, or whatever you want to call it. There's many different names: anthracite gray, gunmetal gray, all that. But today we're going to be doing this color, and we're using the rattle can for multiple reasons. It does not do as good of a job as a spray-on using the aerosol, not can, but the gun. But we're using this because this is more affordable, and this is anyone can do, whereas the gun you have to buy. Not everyone can do it. It's very technical doing that. So I want to do this for everyone by using this. This is very simple, very easy to do. So without further ado, we're going to pull the Porsche into the garage where we're going to get started. So without further ado, let's get started in this. And here we are inside the garage. We have now pulled the Porsche in, ready to go. So before I had it, and the reason it was sitting out is because I washed the car. You always want to make sure the car is at its cleanest point. You always want to wash it before. That way make sure the paint or the Plasti dip sticks properly and isn't going to peel and have any issues. So I just cleaned the car about 2 hours ago, let it sit out, so that way it was perfectly clean and dry. That way now we can start painting. So first off, supplies. The reason I like doing it like this is you don't need a whole lot of supplies. What I use: painter's tape. I get a few rolls, a thick one, thin one, and usually I get 2 thin ones just because that's what I use the most of. This is what I had from doing it last. And the paint. I am using 4 rolls, or 4 cans. To properly Plasti dip a car, you need between 8 to 12 to properly do so, if not more. Sometimes you need up to 16 to 20 depending on the size of your car. Because this car has already been Plasti dipped, it already has the base coat down. This already has 8 coats. So that means I don't have to do the base coat anymore because it already has it. I just need to do the top few coats for color, which is these 4. And the reason I only need 4 is this is a very small car. It does not take a lot of space to paint this car, which is awesome. So with that being said, I'm only needing 4 cans of Plasti dip, 3 rolls of tape, 1 thick, 2 thin, and then plastic bags which we'll tear open, and then we will use to pretty much cover the non-painting area, such as headlights, which you'll probably just use tape, the cockpit of the car to cover that, windshield, and a little bit more. And the rims of the car, because you want to cover these rims to make sure you don't get paint on the brakes and on the rims itself, because it will stick. But with that being said, guys, we're going to start jumping into how to tape and wrap up and mask off the car to make sure it is only the parts that you want to paint. That is most important. You only want to have the visible parts of the car that you want to paint visible. Otherwise you're going to get all of your car. So with that being said, I'm going to get my stuff set up and I'll show you guys how to mask a car. Alright guys, so now to start off, we are going to be demonstrating on this segment of the car right here, which is a black piece of trim which we do not want painted. So we're going to demonstrate on how to mask that off, get it ready to go. Again, we're going to be using the thin section, or the thin tape on this section, because it's very thin and doesn't need to mask off a whole lot. But with that being said, pretty much what you're just going to do is make sure that the tape, and it's going to be a little tricky for me to do one-handed, but I'll do my best, is to tape this section right here, keeping the tape as straight against this line right here as you can, and that will allow for the sharpest, cleanest, most pure edge you can, and it won't pull the Plasti dip up when you pull the tape off at the end. We'll also show how to do this mirror, the tail light. Very easy. You're going to do it on all 4 of the lights on the car. Again, very simple. I'm going to use the thick tape on it, and I'm just going to pretty much do the edges and then cover the tape in the entire thing. That way it's pretty much ready to go. Once I've pretty much done that and I've masked off everything on the car that needs that, it's the same way you did with these 2 things I'll show you. Once you've done that to the entire car, then you're pretty much ready to start painting. It's that simple. That's why I love doing it. It just takes a few minutes. It takes me about 20 minutes to mask off a car. Once it's masked off, it takes me about 30 minutes to paint, but I'll show you, or give or take, and I'll explain more about that when we get to that step. But for now, let's just jump in on how to mask off a car. Alright, so now we're going to mask off this section. Like I said, this part I don't really worry about being clean. The rest of the car I typically wipe off after, or spray it down with some kind of wax just to make sure it's as clean as possible. But this part I don't care about because that's not getting paint. I just want to make sure the tape does stick, however, otherwise it won't work very well. But simply what you do is, again, you want the line to be as straight as possible on the edge to make for the cleanest and purest line you can. So just like that, you start off at one end, and remember, you can always peel the tape, you can always restart if you have to, but you definitely want to take your time and make sure that the masking is done properly. This is the most important part of it. If it's not done properly, ultimately, you're not going to get the best results, and that kind of isn't the best thing. So just like that, peel it off, and if you guys notice here that the line is very clean, very sharp, precise, and not, you know, overlapping anywhere I don't want the paint to get, or overlapping where I want the paint to get. So it's absolutely perfect. So that's how you want to do it. Now that I've kind of demonstrated how you want to do it, make sure you do it to all sections you don't want to get paint. But now I want to quickly demonstrate how to do the mirror caps. And then once we get that, we're going to do the entire car really quickly, and then I'll show you guys when I'm done what it looks like, so you guys get an understanding of what your car should look like when you're done masking it off. So that being said, let's get that done. Boom, now we're here ready to do the tail lights. This will also apply, this technique of wrapping it, or masking it off, will apply to mirrors, tail lights, the front lights, and any major big pieces. That's why I say have a big one. You're not going to use very much of it, but it does help masking off the big items. The small one helps with getting the small detailed areas. So that being said, pretty much what you want to do is just, this is a brand new roll, so I'm starting it off here, but once I get started off, there we go. Pretty much you're just going to take the tape and start off on the edges, wrap your way around, and then fill it in. Very simple, again, very easy. This is why I love working with this stuff, because it helps get very clean, detailed work. And so pretty much start, and then this one, you could be a little bit more lenient with going over the edges, because you're going to be curling it over the edge of the light if you can, because that helps give the most, again, detailed and proper line, which also helps make sure that the Plasti dip looks the best that it can, which is important. So, that being said, I want to quickly throw you on a time lapse as I quickly run through this and get this tail light masked off. And just like that, we have the tail light masked off. This now makes me ready to go to start painting in this area, because I don't have to worry about getting paint on the mirrors or on the tail lights anymore. So that being said, now that I've pretty much demonstrated how to do the entire car, because it's very simple, just make sure that any part you don't want painted is masked off with either plastic bags or tape. So with that being said, I know how to do the rest of the car. So I'll see you back here when I'm done. And now I've got the car completely taped off, ready to go. This is what it should look like when you're done. Pretty much all windows and any other surfaces you don't want to get paint on are masked off, just like this. I used the blue masking tape and plastic bags just to make it as easy and affordable as possible. This is how it should look. I'm actually not worrying about the tires, because that I could just pressure wash later and it'll all come off. It's actually really easy, because I'm also not spraying directly on the tires either, so not too worried about that. But ultimately, this is how it should look, guys. Everything completely masked off, ready to go. So now that we've got this done, it's pretty much time to start painting. Just doing my final sweep, making sure everything looks good, making sure I got everything that I don't want to get paint on, because you always want to double check. Read the directions on the back, make sure you're doing it properly, but you always want to make sure it's well shaken up before you start painting. But pretty much what you're going to do is you want to start doing panel by panel. So literally hold it about 6 inches away or so, and you want to push into it when you do it. And then I kind of do it also in a way that you push, stop, push again as you pull. You always want to start spraying as you move to keep it smooth and clean. If you hold it and then push, then you're pretty much going to get a big splotchy area, and then it doesn't look very good. So pretty much to start off, move, and it should just be just like that. You want the first coat to be very thin. You don't want it too thick, because this is more just a base coat. Even though we already have the base coat on, I'm not going to worry about that too much, but typically on your first coat you always want it thin. That way it's not dripping, and it pretty much sets a proper base for the entire car and for the proper paint to stick. So you can see that's kind of what you want the first coat to look like. You can already see how it's changing the color off of a small thin coat. This stuff is going to do the entire car, and I'll do it 4 times using this. So with that being said, guys, it's time to get doing the entire car. After each section slash layer, coat, whatever you want to call it, I'll show you how the difference is and what it looks like. But that being said, let me finish the first coat. Alright guys, so now we finished the first coat, well technically 2, because the can went for 2 times around. It's completely empty now, but it allowed me to do 2 very solid, very smooth, even coats around the entire car. This is what it looks like. Again, you can see a huge difference between what it was before versus after. This, you could already see what color it's going to be. You can still see the original color underneath, and you can also see how my crossing is. Which I'll explain more in a second, but you can see how much the color is already changing. I still have 6 more coats to do. We've already done the first 2 of 8, and it already is making a huge difference. So once I do the other 6, it's going to look absolutely amazing. Now, when you guys see here that I have done, you can tell I went in this direction when I sprayed it like this direction. When I come back on the next 2 coats, I'm going to do the opposite direction, crossing from that. That way it gives it more of an even look and an even layer. And then each time I'll do the exact opposite. So that means every time I do it, it'll be perpendicular to each other, allowing for the smoothest, most even paint and layer you could get. So with that being said, guys, we're gonna let this dry for 20 minutes. We're gonna shut the garage door, and we'll see you guys back here when we do the next 6 coats. Alright guys, so we've finally completed the last coat. It looks absolutely awesome. It looks so much better than it originally did. I mean, if you guys look here, boom, there you go. So we went with a gunmetal gray, which is kind of like a cross between a silver gray with a little bit of sparkle in there. But we went on a matte. It looks absolutely awesome. This is just what I had envisioned. So you can kind of see what the final results were. Alright guys, so now I got the majority of it already masked off and, you know, kind of removing everything. One thing I did and should have said earlier is you also need one of these knives or just something sharp in general that you could cut with. Because usually I like to take this and run it along the edges of here, because it kind of helps to make sure that's not going to stick to the tape. That way when you peel everything off, it doesn't peel the Plasti dip with it. It allows for everything to be a lot cleaner. Again, it's just very simple. Pretty much what you do is you just find a way to start the peel and just pretty much peel it off of the car. Very simple, very easy. Pretty much takes me all of 10 minutes to demask a car. So pretty much do that to everything, and then you pretty much get the final result, which looks like up here because I'm already done. So with that being said, I want to finish the entire car and then we'll be done. So I'll see you guys right back here in a second. And now we got the Porsche out of the garage, and it looks so good. I mean, I'm just sitting here, guys, and I'm blown away by how awesome it looks. I definitely would have gone this original color in the first place. I was just trying something new. This is what I originally wanted to do, but I was like, you know what, I'll try something different. I tried the like this burnt copper look, and it looks cool, but definitely still not compared to this. I did decide I actually am going to be buying a few more cans just to touch up a few areas, and so I have extra in case I need it. But ultimately, we're done. I mean, this looks absolutely amazing. And seriously, guys, that's how easy it is to Plasti dip a car, and that's why I highly recommend it for people who can't afford it or don't want to spend a lot of money, and especially for someone who doesn't want something permanent. This is amazing because it's so easy to do, so affordable to do. You can do it yourself. It is fun and it's affordable. So with that being said, and plus it's awesome. So I mean, just look at that, guys. That looks absolutely awesome. So I'm so thrilled with the new color. But with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on how to Plasti dip a car. I hope it will be helpful to you guys. But with that being said, I'm done here, and I'm tired because it's been a long day. It took me about 3 hours to do this. But with that being said, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Again, every like and subscriber helps. I appreciate you guys so much, and the amount of support I've been getting has been absolutely spectacular. If you haven't already, again, please support and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, guys, be sure to be you, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.